It's a book that I found under someone's dead body. It's cursed with many stories, and by the time I'm done reading these short stories to you, I will be a dead man. Okay. Story 1. The House in a Cavern. Late one night, a man went camping alone for the weekend. After finding a quiet spot, he unpacked his things, gathered wood, and started a fire. Once he finished eating, he settled into his tent and fell asleep. Sometime during the night, he heard a creak. His eyes opened slowly. The tent shifted slightly, even though there was no wind. Confused, he stepped outside and shined his flashlight into the darkness. In the distance, he saw a shadowy figure standing between the trees. The moment the light hit it, it was gone. Uneasy, the man returned to his tent. Then, another creak, louder. He rushed outside again. This time, the figure was closer. He froze. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then, the light flickered, and it was gone again. Now terrified, the man stayed awake inside his tent. Minutes passed in silence until suddenly, the tent began to shake violently. The creaking sound echoed all around him. Panicking, he ran out into the woods. As he ran, the creaking followed him, over and over, getting louder with every step. He turned around. The figure was right behind him. He stumbled back, and suddenly, the ground beneath him gave way. He fell down into darkness. When he finally stopped, he couldn't move. The air felt cold, hollow. Slowly, he looked down. A long pointed spike had gone straight through him. The creaking sound echoed again, not from the woods, but from what seems to be a house in a cavern. Story 2. The Broken Clock. On a Sunday morning, a man was driving around his neighborhood when he noticed a garage sale sign outside a house.
I wonder what do I have?
Curious, and with nothing better to do, he decided to stop and take a look. As the man walked around, he came across an old clock.
Interesting clock. How much for this?
He asked. The owner shrugged. It doesn't work, but you can have it for $5.
Alrighty, I'll take it,
says the man. He then takes the clock home with him. Once inside, he placed it on a shelf and went about his day. That night, as he lay in bed, he suddenly heard a ticking sound. He ignored it and tried to sleep. A few hours later, the ticking returned, louder this time. Annoyed, he turned over and forced himself back to sleep. But then, not long after, the ticking started again, louder than before. Frustrated, the man got out of bed and walked toward the shelf to grab the clock. But when he got there, it was gone. Confused, he searched around his house until he saw it, hanging on the wall, slowly ticking. The man stepped closer. The ticking grew louder with every step. Then it stopped. Silence filled the room. As he reached out toward the clock, something moved inside it. Suddenly, a figure burst out, grabbing him and pulling him into the wall. The clock fell to the ground with a loud crack, silent once again. Okay, third story. The Untold Wedding. There was once a woman named Jenny. In college, Jenny didn't have many friends. All she ever wanted was to be loved and one day have her own wedding. Then one day, she met a man. From the moment they saw each other, Jenny couldn't take her eyes off him, and somehow he felt the same. The two began to talk, and soon after, they went on a date. But during that date, the man noticed something off. Jenny ate a little too fast. Her smile stretched a little too wide, and sometimes she would just stare at him without blinking. Still, he ignored it. He loved her. Months passed, and the relationship grew stronger. Eventually, they decided to get married. They planned everything together. The clothes, the location, the guests. It was everything Jenny had ever dreamed of. On the day of the wedding, the man stood at the altar, waiting. The room was filled with friends and family. Music played softly as everyone turned toward the doors. Slowly, they began to open. Jenny stepped out, but something wasn't right. Her smile was too wide. Her skin looked wrong. The room fell silent. Then suddenly, she changed. Her body twisted into something unrecognizable, her face stretched into a bloody, monstrous grin. Before anyone could react, Jenny lunged into the crowd. Screams filled the room. One by one, they disappeared. The man tried to run, but it was too late. By the time the police arrived, the wedding was empty. No guest, no groom, no Jenny. Only a trail leading into the woods. Story 4. My Pet Spider. Once, there was a boy walking home from school, excited for the dinner his mom had made. "I'm so hungry, I can't wait to see what my mom made for me," said the little boy. On his way, he spotted a spider crawling along the sidewalk. "Hey little guy, you'll get hurt out here," he said, gently picking it up and taking it home. Once inside, the boy shows his mother the spider. "Look, Mom, I found a spider. I think I'll keep him as my pet." His mom smiled and told him that was fine, as long as he took care of it and to leave it in his room before coming to eat. The boy placed the spider in his room and went to dinner, but when he came back, it was gone. "Now where could he be?" said the boy. The boy searched everywhere, under his bed, along the walls, even the ceiling, but couldn't find it. Shrugging it off, he told himself it would probably show up later and went to sleep. In the middle of the night, he felt something crawling across his face, but he was too tired to wake up. The next morning, he opened his eyes and couldn't see. Everything was dark. Panicking, he touched his face, which felt swollen and tender. As he rubbed his eyes, he felt something shift inside, something small, something alive. He tried to scream, but something crawled out of his mouth. It was the spider. This is it. Story 5. The Line That Got Caught. In a small house, there lived a brother and a sister. They were off to go fishing for the day and see if they can catch anything. "Bye, Mom, we're headed out," the brother called. "We'll be back soon," the sister added. But there was no response. "She must have stepped out. Let's just leave a note and be on our way," says the sister. The two wrote a note and left their home to go fishing. At the lake, they cast their lines into the water and waited. "I hope I catch something big," says the brother. "Me too," added the sister. Minutes passed, then hours. The sister began catching fish one after another, but the brother caught nothing. Frustrated, he says, "It's been hours and I still haven't caught anything." "Don't worry, you'll get one soon," says the sister. Suddenly, his line jerked hard. Excited, he began to reel it in, but it wouldn't budge. It felt heavy, too heavy. "I think I got something," says the brother. He called for his sister's help, and together they pulled with all their strength until the line suddenly gave. Something broke the surface of the water slowly. Not a fish, not a log. It was their mother's bloody head, dripping and staring at them. The end. It is done.